Hello, everybody. Welcome to Trusty's Vintage Live Sale. Thank you for joining me tonight. Great to see so many people already in the chat, trying to say hello to people while I was finishing setting up and getting ready for tonight's sale. Great to see so many returning visitors, and then also seeing some new names joining us tonight. So thank you so much for taking time out of your evening. I know there are many other options available in the vintage community running right now, so I appreciate those of you who are spending time with me, and I have no problem if you're two-fisting it. There's a great interview over on Thrift U with Jeffrey and Barb, so I'm sure that that's going to be entertaining as well. So you can watch them and ask questions on one screen while you watch for things coming up for sale on my screen. I have no problem with that. Appreciate all of you coming out, and appreciate us. Nate is here. For those who don't know Nate from New Zealand, Nate will be my official claimer tracker for this evening. So if you are new, you probably are familiar with some of the other sites and the other sales that go on YouTube. Mine works pretty much the same way. We're all somewhat similar. Biggest difference is I do not do auctions or offer ups or anything like that. So I know that there's been a trend, and Janice had asked about it as a new visitor this evening about pre-registering. I don't need you to pre-register. Because it is just first to claim, I pretty much just trust that you'll pay your bill. And if you don't, I go back into the video and figured out who was the next person that claimed it. So it's really, there's no risk of like artificially running up an auction bid, which is, I know what's happening in some of the other channels that have trolls. So, you know, like Halem said, a trusty is trusty. I really, knock wood, have not had a huge issue. The biggest issue is for people falsely running up auctions. Since I don't do auctions, that's less of an issue. So anyway, we're all just here to have fun. I want to be able to trust everyone, trust but verify, so I don't ship anything until you pay your bill. So I'm pretty protected. I'm not overly worried about it. So again, welcome all the people that have joined. We've got Katie has come back, Vintage and Vinyl. She is a great channel to follow, both for her content as well as her Instagram channel, because she is running daily calendars that will kind of remind you or tell you what's coming up each day. And at this point, the calendar is at a point where I truly cannot keep up with it. People are moving times, they're moving days, more people are trying to do shows, and I support every single one of them. If you've been on watched my channel in the past, during October, every week in October, I did a live sale with smaller channels just to give them all a chance. And now some of them have continued, and that just means there's a lot out there. So appreciate those of you who make it around. Sometimes I feel by the end of the week, maybe people have run out of money, but you know what? We're just here to have fun. So we're going to do that. So Katie puts up a nice calendar. Angela Marksberry also puts out a calendar. I don't see her on here yet. So she's another one to follow, a Marksberry. She actually puts it out for the week. So it is kind of nice. It does change sometimes throughout the week, unfortunately, but it is a nice little snapshot, of where things stand. Diana from Little Vintage Me. So since I don't have the Huckster helper here this evening, anything German I've got coming up tonight, I can make sure Diana helps us out. Dragonfly Addict, thanks so much for joining us back. Debbie from Chicago, big supporter of the Just One More Dachshund Rescue, the fundraiser we ran in November. And Dawn, who runs the Just One More Dachshund Rescue, was on here somewhere. So thank you for joining us again, Dawn. Wait, I just saw you. Where'd you go? Well, we'll just say hi to Mama Jay. We'll say hi to Karen Radford. I'll come across Dawn eventually. Michelle has come back, one of my Illinois homies. I am shipping from outside Chicago. So again, if you're new to this channel, I don't do auctions. Everything is just the price I give you is the price you pay. So the first person to put the number in the chat that Nate sees. So keep that in mind. Nate will be my tracker. So the first person he sees, he will type into the chat who claims it. If I have not shipped to you before, you'll just have to send an email to the email address, which should have been on the screen, but is not. So hold on. Yeah, we're not going to do that one. Why is my banner not showing up? There it is. Okay, so when I stop saying hi to people, my banner shows up. So the email address on here, if you've never bought from me before, you can drop me an email. Tell me where you're at. I calculate the shipping. I send you an invoice. Once you pay your invoice, I ship the item. So again, pretty much I do try to be trusty. So appreciate everyone looking out for each other. I mean, this is a fun community. Pretty much there's no reason for me not to trust people, because there's people like Lori that are here. And I still kick myself every day that Lori from Blue Flamingo Mercantile and Carrie from KCATX are related, and I never knew that, but I found that out at one of my channels. Helen, say hello to Helen. Rose, you might be a new name to me. I apologize. I don't recognize you, but so if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, apologize if I haven't shouted out to you before. Anchor and Pearl Treasures, welcome back. Said hi to Lori, sort of gave her a shout out. Trisha from Sandy and Otto. She's another one that does channels, does live sales. I think hers are, well, they're kind of late for those of us on the eastern part of the country, because I think she's on the West Coast, somewhere in Washington State. So she does them fairly late. So they kind of become like night owl sales for the rest of us. So she's a fun one to follow. Dragonfly Attic. Frenchie Mom. Always love when Frenchie Mom comes back, because we do a fundraiser for dachshunds, not for Frenchies. So it's always nice when her and Jennifer, Lab Mom, other dogs actually recognize that we love all dogs. We just happen to do a fundraiser for Doxies. Mary Jo's come back. Thrifting in the Holler is a person I know who was thrifting in the Holler. That is also her Instagram channel. She's been here before. She's actually purchased from me before, and now I can't think of her real name. So I do apologize, Thrifted in the Holler, but welcome back. Welcome back, Helen. Bimos Mercantile. So Laura's joining us from her evening of pool. So she gets to pop in and out in between shooting pool. So always grateful when Laura finds time to pop on. Laura has participated in some of my deep dives. So I'm not sure what my next deep dive is going to be, but the old deep dives are on there. Laura did one on playing cards. We've had a couple other people that have been on here have done deep dives as well. I did them twice a month in 2020, and I'm trying to figure out a schedule for 2021. So they'll be back here at some point. Halem is joining us, and on the other side of the living room is Melody. So they're both here, and I'm sure the dog is there somewhere. And there's Dawn. Dawn is here. She runs the Doxy Rescue, and she just got a new dachshund. Oh, it's a girl. Lily Mae? No, that's not right. Now I can't remember, but she actually got a puppy. The Just One More Dachshund Rescue had been somewhat specializing in senior dogs, and now she has a puppy. So you get to deal with chewers. Maybe you'll see whether it's better to have chewers or dogs with no teeth. So let's see. I think I've said Janice. I would say a formal hello to Janice. I was texting her before we started. Throwback to I have another new name that I just lost. Norm. What was it? I got stuck and then it jumped. I'm sorry. There was a name that I did not recognize that now I can't find. So I apologize. I want to say Over the Years was here. Holy cats. Over the Years is here. Tim has a free Thursday night. How did that happen? Josie must be busy. So Laura, not a new name to you. Laura might be a new name to others. She also does live sales. She joins a couple other channels, and she does some live sales as well. Vintage Vinyl, Rebecca Higgins, Tia Fane. We've got our Canuck for the night. I don't think I've noticed any other Canadians in yet. Jean Marie, thanks for coming back. Elisa from Moonstruck Vintage. She was also supported the Dachshund fundraiser. She provided donated one of the most valuable items into the auction that ended up, I think we ended up selling it for $175. So that was a very gracious donation from Elisa Moonstruck Vintage. She is on Instagram, and she sells vintage through her shop in Cleveland as well as online. Auntie Christie has come back. All right. So I apologize if I missed you. I was trying to scroll through. There definitely was a name. I want to say it was Norm or Norman or Normie, but now I can't find it. So I apologize if I missed somebody. But I do really appreciate, particularly this evening, I do appreciate you joining me. For those of you who might be new to my channel, I do really appreciate you coming over. It's one of those cases where there's so many channels that are active right now. Tim from Over the Years is a great one. He does some absolutely phenomenal sales. I can't wait for him to start doing his identification videos for no other reason because I have something I want him to identify. But there's some great content out there, and there's only so many hours in the day. So there ends up being a lot of competition. I appreciate those of you who reached out to me because something major was competing against this time slot. It is what it is. I've had this time slot since May 12th. I've been doing a weekly sale. It's not my time slot. It's just when I do my show. Somebody else wants it. That's not mine. So there's a lot of stuff going on. I appreciate those of you who are participating, however you participate, and supporting my channel. So I really appreciate it. And to start things out, I'm going to do an early bird kind of sale for the mystery box. So for those of you who are joining right up front, we've got a mystery box right out of the gate. So again, this is not an auction. This is an outright sale. I always sell my mystery boxes for $15. The mystery boxes will contain anywhere from $25 to $30 and up worth of merchandise. Sometimes they will still have price tags on it from where I had it in my booth. Other times it's, I just calculate what I would have sold it for. And I've started doing my mystery boxes slightly differently. What I do for my mystery boxes, because there's a lot of discussion about keeping things fair, and I always want things to be fun. So we just came up with a way that I have a number on my card. I'm not gonna show it yet, but I also won't drop it. The item behind to get this, it's a miscellaneous mystery box. There's not a particular theme on this one. It is $15, and the number is a number that I will give you a range. And so if you were interested in this one, you will simply type the number that you think it is. You can type every number into the range that I give you. The first person that comes up with the right number will be the person that claims the item. So Nate is watching tonight. He does not even know what the number is. So I will watch for it to scroll past. Once I see it scroll past, I'll show what the number is. And then as a hive mind, we will all look to see, and I will wait for Nate to refresh his screen to see who was the first person to give the right number. So the first mystery box, again, is a miscellaneous theme. Be the first person to guess the number, and the number falls between 10 and 20. So give me a number between 10 and 20, and the first person that I see that gives me that number will be the person who claims the item. And I'm going to also try and follow on my screen. Okay, I've not seen it yet. All right, I just saw it. So I know who I see first, but that doesn't necessarily mean that is who Nate is going to see first. So the number was number 19. So Nate, I need you to do a little screen refresh and see if the person that I saw give it first is the same person that you saw give it first. So I won't say anything yet. I will wait until Nate pops on. But so it's a slightly different way of doing it. I won't, for those who are new, I do not do this for every item. The evening would last forever. So I just do these for the mystery boxes. And I will say I have 2 mystery boxes this evening, and I'll do both of them this way. But for those of you who joined in right from the beginning, wanted to give you guys first shot because I do appreciate you joining me and participating in the sale, because you've got a lot of other options available for you tonight. And Nate saw who I saw. So the first person that gave me the number 19 was Auntie Christy. So Auntie K gets the mystery box. Number 19 goes to Auntie K. So congratulations, Auntie K. Hope you enjoy the box. All right. Going into some regular items. I'll do the other mystery box a little bit later. We'll see who's here, but I'll do it that same way. The rest of them will just be first to claim items. Again, if you're new to my channel, there we go. Normie Han. That was the one that I saw fly by. So I definitely did not recognize that one because I wanted to just say Norm, but I thought there was something after it. So welcome, Normie Han. Okay. So, and I do apologize. I tend to talk so much that I don't follow the chat all that much. So I do apologize if I missed something, but I will try and keep that on. And if Nate, if there's something really important that I'm missing, he's sending me messages in a different location. So I can hopefully check his messages if there's something I'm really missing. But so if you haven't watched my channel in a while or haven't seen some of my sales, historically, I have had a couple of brick and mortar locations, booths in vintage malls with varying degrees of success, mostly leaning toward failure. And so a lot of what I've been selling over the last couple of months was I had to close down one of my booths after 2 months of not covering rent leading up to Christmas. Now, granted, you've got the current situation, so people aren't out shopping as much, whatever. Fact of the matter is I have tons of inventory, and some of it is now going into my new booth, which is struggling. But so I have a lot of items that either had never made it to the new booth, or my personal favorite, the new booth is now on its third version of ticketing. So there are items that I ticketed for the new booth that then we had to redo. So there's some items that just didn't redo the tickets. So I'm always trying to pass these off at really good prices. I feel I have good prices at my booth. But this is one of those items that I was doing a lot of tea items, teapots, teacups. I actually sold tea in the current booth. This is one that admittedly got packed up from my old booth and put into a box that then I kind of forgot about. So I was digging things for this sale and found this one. So you know what, I'll just put it in the sale. It has a luster interior. So hopefully you can kind of tell the luster. But what's interesting about it is the luster is pretty serious on the inside, but not so much on the outside. There's a sheen, because there's definitely a high gloss on the glaze, but I would not consider the outside particularly lusterware. It's lusterware because of the middle or the interior. It's got a really cool, almost like a maple leaf shape handle for the teacup. It's footed, which is also extremely cool. You can see these fruit designs, transferware put on there. The teacup itself is not marked. The saucer is. You can see what that says. I think it says Royal Sealy, Japan. So you can see also the luster exists on the base of the saucer as well. So you've set up the transferware with the pineapples and the fruits, but this one has the luster on the outside, where this one just really doesn't. There's tiny bits of it near the gold, but for the most part, the luster is on the base and on the interior. I was selling it for $8 in the booth, and it didn't sell. So I'm selling it here for $5. So $5 for the lusterware footed cup and saucer. $5 perfect condition, no chips, no cracks. As pretty much everything I sell is not going to have any damage, unless I specifically point it out. So $5 for the cup and saucer, and that is number 89. $5, number 89 for the lusterware cup and saucer. So yes, we always like to keep Nate on his toes when things are really popular. But at least I only have one. You don't have to keep track of 100 of them, like when I sold the vintage maxi pads. That's a fun video to go back and find. All right, so I will wait and see who Nate finds for that. If you're new to my channel, you will see a lot of porcelain, pottery, and glass. It's what I like, it's what I do, and it's what I end up selling. I'll try and mix it up a little bit. But the next item is actually another piece of porcelain, but on a slightly different angle. So it looks like number 89 went to For Sandy's Lilacs. So thank you, Sandy, for picking up the cup and saucer. So we had the fancy lusterware cup and saucer, and now we've got a porcelain Las Vegas, Nevada souvenir plate, or if you're familiar with my channel, a coaster. This one literally could be a coaster, because sometimes if it's a decorative plate, there'd be holes or something in it to hang it. This one does have the Made in Japan stamp, but it does not have any way to hang it. So if you wanted to, use it as a decorative piece, you'd get one of those little stands and you could prop it up. But it is the perfect size for a coaster, and it does have a flat surface to put your drink on. And yes, I do have a thing for coasters. I'm starting to admit that now. It's no longer anonymous. I have an issue. But I do. I like coasters. And from a business standpoint, they're inexpensive to purchase, they're inexpensive to ship, and they're fun. So, there's all kinds of different designs, and Christy, I purposely, sometimes they don't sell all that well because I pick some really weird souvenir pieces, but I used to travel internationally. So I love this kind of stuff. I've got stuff like this on my tree. It's not always for everyone, but sometimes this is about as kitschy as I'll typically get. So this is a Las Vegas souvenir piece. And it has some age to it because some of the ones that are advertising on here is the Sands Hotel, which no longer exists. Caesar's Palace, which does Stardust. I don't know if I've got any of that in my Vegasians. I can't remember if the Stardust still exists. It's definitely an old sign. It's that one up there on the top. So I'm not sure if that one still exists or not, but you've got Caesar's Palace, the Desert Inn, which that's still there. Circus, I think, is still there. What's that bottom one? Sahara. I think that says Sahara. Flamingo. Pretty sure the Flamingo is still there. But the sands I'm almost positive is not there, because it was either the sands or the dunes. I think they were side by side. When I've only visited there a couple of times. I was there on business, and that was when they were in the process of imploding it. So it was all cordoned off. I didn't get to see it go down, but anyway, I've just got this cute little plate. Whether you want to use a coaster, souvenir, or if you don't like Vegas, you can shatter it against a wall. I don't really care. So you just got this cute little plate, and it's only $3. So $3 for the little Las Vegas souvenir plate by giving me number 11. $3, number 11 for the little souvenir plate. All right. This is an item that I took out of my booth because I'm in the process of consolidating some things in my booth. And this is another inexpensive item. It is a vintage shoe brush. So it's got the wooden top to it. It's Griffin Shine Master is, yeah, it's actually stamped into it. Like you can feel that those letters are embedded in. So it's like it was actually pressed into the wood. It's not just a stamp sitting on top of it. It was inked. But anyway, it's a Griffin Shine Master. It is in vintage condition. You can see there's places where there's a little bit of the polish, is still on the wood. This would be totally functional if you needed a shoe polishing brush. But if you're into primitives or you're into that rustic or industrial decor, this would just be a really cool item that also holds postcards. So it's one of those things that you can actually set this out and it'd just be a pretty cool item for the postcards. So the Las Vegas plate went to Halem. So congratulations, Halem, for picking that up. And that was number 11, then $3. This wooden shoe shine is also $3. So $3 for the little shoe brush, $3 gives me number 96. $3.96 for the little Griffin Shine Master in shoe polishing brush. All right. Next item, let's go into some glass. Haven't had a piece of glass here yet. So this is one, and this is one of them. When I was pulling it for the sale, I'm sitting there thinking, did I buy this from somebody else's live sale? And it is entirely possible I did. So 96 goes to Jean Marie. So the brush goes to Jean Marie. So thank you for picking that up. It is a Christmas piece, and I want to say there was somebody that had a Christmas sale, and they had some pretty decent prices that I picked up to sell in my booth. And this was something that ended up not selling. So I'm sure when you consider shipping, I'm selling this at a loss, but I'm selling it all the same because it's something that I don't want to have to store until next Christmas. It's a very nice 2-piece candle votive holder. It actually comes, and it came with it from the person I got it, like a little red and white swirl tea light holder, which to me looks a little dinky in this piece. So I think it would actually hold a small, like really a traditional votive candle. It has the glass base. It is lead crystal. I still have the box for it. It's over there. I forgot to grab it. But it's St. George is the name of the manufacturer. It's just pressed glass. It does say it's 24% lead crystal, and it's got a holly pattern to it. So it is a Christmas piece. So if you buy it, you'll probably put it away for next Christmas. But hopefully you have less stuff in storage than I do. Or if you don't, not really my problem. So anyway, I'm basically selling. I had it in the booth for $10 and it didn't sell. So I'm selling it here for $5. So $5 for the little holly glass votive holder, $5, and you can get it for giving me number 48. $5.48 for the pressed glass holly design candle holder. And I just want to say, I've got 70 people watching. I'm touched. That sounds really stupid, but I was very fearful that I was going to have 7. Like I'm being 100% honest. I do not have the biggest channel of everyone that's out there. I don't have the biggest following, but to me, it's always quality over quantity. So I would have been happy with 7, but the fact that I've got 70 of you here, I'm honored that you guys are giving me your time. So I do appreciate that. So 2 pieces. It looks like number 48. Oh, it's going to Suzanne McLean. So she can save on the freight because Suzanne also has a booth in the location that I'm currently located. So she would have walked by this all the time while it was for sale in my booth, because we have to work the shop. We have to walk the floor. So congratulations, Suzanne. She's number 17 vintage. Suzanne does not do live sales, but she does have a great Instagram channel. So you can follow her at number 17, and that's NO.7, the number 17, NO.17 vintage. And so she's got a great eye. She's got some great stuff that she sells through the store, but the store ships. So I've definitely had a couple people ask for things and they get shipped through the store, and we're totally happy to do that. All right, going back to a piece of porcelain, because this pile it looks like it's about to tip over. So moving on to the next piece of porcelain. If you've seen some of my earliest videos, this is a piece of Lefton. When I first started out, and that's what also made it difficult for this evening, the interview that's competing for this same time slot is Jeffrey from Real Nifty Vintage. And I learned most of how I built up my business watching Jeffrey. Hell, I'd like to watch the interview. He's a major player, and if you don't follow his channel, you should do so. So Real Nifty Vintage, in the early days, he had only been running for like a year or so by the time I found him, and it really showed how he built up his channel. And he talked a lot about Lefton. I don't know if he necessarily talks about it that much anymore, but it's one of those pieces that it spoke to me because I do personally like porcelain. I like the shelf sitters. I like the pretties. And Lefton has done it in a way that a lot of the labeling is very specific. You can find out exactly when it was made. So they have one label that was made before the 50s, and another label that was from 1951 and 1973, another label from 73 to 82. It's very easy to track it. This ended up being one of the later pieces, but it's still a marked Lefton piece. So this one doesn't have the foil label anymore. This one just has the stamp, but it's also stamped with its model number. It's Spring Bouquet. And I just felt like this was one of those items that this is the time of the year that we just got snow here in Chicago, but you want to start thinking about spring. And it's a beautiful dish that has a really cool silhouette, because there's these little, I don't know if you can really tell, but they're these little wings that come out, and they're kind of flat. So it's almost like that's how you hold it, but it's only on the one side. This side, it doesn't come out as far, and it's more like a spout. It's almost like you would use this as a sauce boat. I don't think it is. I just think it's just a cool, you can kind of see the shape there. It's just kind of cool. It has this little handle, and it's not really a spout, but it's kind of got something on the opposite side of the handle. It's just got the decoration of the I think they're violets. It says it is Spring Bouquet. So I'm going to say that those are violets and crocus. I don't know what the little blue ones would be, because lilies of the valley are white. So I don't remember I don't know what all blooms early in the spring. But anyway, it's just a little Lefton dish, a great little trinket dish, little pin tray. It's got a little bit of height to it. It's just a really nice size with a really pretty decoration and the gold dusting around the edges. And again, in perfect condition, no chips, no cracks, no issues. And it's only $6. So forget-me-nots, oh, that could be. Yeah, I think I could go with that, Auntie Christy. So $6 for the piece of Lefton by giving me number 41. $6.41 for the little Lefton dish. All right. If you've watched my channel, you will know that these pop up quite a bit. And either I'm happy to say or I'm sad to say, I think this will be the last time you see them, or it's going to be the last time you see them for a while, because this finishes off my inventory of Wade Whimsies. So these literally I found, they'd been pushed into another box, or I fell down inside of another box. I thought I had ran out the last time. I sold all my sealed ones. These are unsealed. So but they're all still in great condition. So you've got the rhinoceros. You've got the dogs. This was one of my favorites. I actually had this on my TV for a while, but it kept falling off. So you've got this pair of, actually, I don't know what those would be. Spaniels? I don't think they're Doxies. Cocker Spaniels, maybe? I don't know, but a pair of dogs. So the cat lovers don't get upset. I also have a cat. I tend to have dogs more often than I have cats, but here's a cat. I've got a tortoise or turtle. He's actually significantly larger than the other ones. So he's like riding the waves. So you've got, who was the Finding Nemo, the turtle? Crush, something like that. So you got the turtle riding the waves, and then the backside, you've got the full shell. So again, if you compare him to the next one I was going to show, I have the white pony. Here's the turtle. The turtle is taking over the world. So we've got the tortoise, we've got the white pony, and we've got cheetah, leopard. Got spots. So what would that be? So anyway, cheetah maybe. So we've got Crush. There we go. Crush was the name. I think I might have even said that, but thank you, Lori. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 Wade Whimsies. This one, admittedly, this is how I got it. It has a piece of felt on the bottom, which is fine. But so this one actually is felt. So somebody had this on display somewhere. The others do not, but they're all Wade because they all have the name embedded. Why did I pick the smallest one to show? Let's see if I can show the big one. Now it's a bigger piece, but the Wade Whimsy Wade is not much bigger, but they all say Wade England on them. So anyway, so you got a set of 6. Basically, I'm selling them the way I sold them before. I'm just going to sell them for $2 a piece. So it's a set of 6 for $12. So $12 for the batch of 6 Wade Whimsies by giving me number 43. $12 for number 43. And the Violets Bowl, number 41, went to Rebecca Higgins. So thank you, Rebecca, for picking up the Violets Bowl. And that will be heading out to Maine to visit, to live with Rebecca. All right. The next item, admittedly, I was straying a little bit from my comfort zone, but he spoke to me. See if he speaks to you too. You can also tell me what you think he is. So I'm pretty confident, because of the schnoz, that is an elephant. And I like the elephant because everyone wants an elephant that has a raised trunk. I'm partial to those elephants that, are not as excited to see everyone. And so this one, he's like in the middle. So he doesn't have a down trunk, but he's got more like a straight trunk, which somebody else looked at him and said he was an anteater. So I don't think he's an anteater because of these ginormous ears. So I'm pretty sure, yes, elephant ears. Exactly, Michelle. So elephant ears. I'm pretty sure he's an elephant. I just think his snout is a little disproportional to the overall size of the piece. I'm going to say he's a planter, but I guess he's resin. I really don't even know what this material is. It looks like clay. It is not particularly heavy, so it's going to be easy to ship. The box will be pretty big, but he's not heavy, so that's nice. It has holes drilled in this ear and in this ear and in the tail. So I'm assuming you would have strung the rope up through those 3 pieces to hang him. But he is resin. I don't know if this would hold like water. So I do think he's like a hanging planter, but maybe for a fake plant. I don't know. Maybe resin can handle water. I honestly don't know. He does have what I liked about him. Let's see if I can just show it. He can sit as well. So he was made in such a way that he has flat feet so that you don't have to hang him. You just have to deal with the fact that he has holes. Like, you can give him earrings and a butt ring. I don't know. But he can sit all by himself. So I'm trying to top my quotes, Halem. So, I think butt ring tops, I don't care. So anyway, so he's got a goofy little smile. I thought maybe he had a hole. No, he doesn't. I thought he had a hole like for a cigar or something, but no, he's just kind of got a deeply carved, but again, he's resin. He's not pottery. He's not, I'm sure at some point he was widely produced. I just never seen anything like him. So I just thought he was kind of fun, kind of cool. And because he's not very heavy, I'm like, okay, this is something I could probably sell in this kind of sale. Where on Etsy, I think I'd have a hard time like trying to showcase him through photographs or whatever, because he does look like clay. But I should have asked our resident resin expert. So Laura is saying that resin is actually fine with water. So okay, so that's good to know. So that this probably then could be used as a functional planter. Regardless, it's just a super cool piece. He's only $12. So $12 for the little elephant planter, $12 by giving me number 21. $12.21 for the resin elephant planter. And so the Wades were very popular. Thank you for keeping track of everything, Nate. And it looks like number 40 through the Wade went to Rose Spangenberg. Excellent. So Rose, I think you were one of the people that I thought was new. So thank you so much for picking them up. I'm glad. I hope you collect Wades. I hope those make a nice collection. Or you just started a instant collection. Those are always fun too. So Rose got the 6 Wade Whimsies. And it looks like number 21, the elephant planter, is going to Michelle Ann. So thank you, Michelle, for picking up our little elephant ear Dumbo planter. All right. All right, the next piece I've got, as much as the resin planter was going to be relatively lightweight to ship, this one's going to be a little bit heavier. But I really like this piece. It is for Tia Fane, I think our only Canadian resident that's in the chat tonight. This is from Barbara Peel Halliburton Pottery, which is out of Canada. And she signs it with John 3:16 is etched into that. I don't hold that against her. It is a very large bowl, kind of like a baking bowl with a lid. And the lid is fitted and has some pretty cool detail in it. It has kind of like a floral fern-like leaf pattern all the way around the top, around the handle. I do believe it's designed to be functional bakeware because she actually put the steam hole in the middle. So if this were really just designed to be decorative, I don't think that hole would be there. I don't know, what kind of glaze she's using. It is fully glazed on the inside. Hopefully it's lead free. I think when I researched it, these were all from like the 90s. I don't remember if this one had a date on it. No, I don't think this one had a date on it. But there is some crazing in the green. Hopefully you can kind of see that. So, keep that in mind. I don't admittedly see any crazing on the inside. But if you want to use it as a baking item, it's, again, it's one of those things. I love art pottery. I have a collection of art pottery. This is a very, very pale green color that as it turns, it gets even paler. So it's somewhat not uniform. And then the top goes into the really dark greens. If it were all that dark green, I probably would keep it. But this pale sagey green color doesn't really go with the rest of my pottery. So I am passing it on. I once had it at the booth for $40. When I was moving out, I marked it down to $29. It did not sell for $29. So I'm selling it here for $20. Just keep in mind, it's a little bit heavy. So, depending on where I'm shipping it to or what else you're getting, it's very sturdy, but it's pottery. Unlike the resin elephant, this one's a little bit heavier. So you've got for $20 a Halliburton, Barbara Peel Halliburton pottery piece, $20 by giving me number 58. $20, number 58 for the green pottery. I've lost my comments. All right. So that's that. And hopefully I didn't offend anyone by something I just said. I shouldn't have said that. So anyway, moving on. Let's go from the heaviest item in the sale to the lightest item in the sale, or at least one of the lightest items in the sale. So if you follow me on Instagram, which I encourage you to do, the day before the sale and the day of the sale, this time it was just the day of the sale because I was so busy with my regular job, I didn't have a chance to do anything. I will start promoting items on Instagram. And this was one of the items that I did promote. It looks like we got an update. So number 58, the green pottery piece, goes to Terry Condoloro. So Terry, I think you are also a name that I do not recognize. So just make sure you send me an email. And if you're in the Chicago area, let me know. I can meet you at the Rustic Fox in North Aurora. Or if you're close enough to me, we can even make arrangements where I can drop it off. I do that for a couple of customers. So if you're in the Chicago area, I can always save you some money that way too. So appreciate you picking it up. Okay, so again, lightweight. These were one of the items that I promoted. I started an eBay store and I'm trying to figure out what to put in eBay versus what goes on Etsy. Etsy, if you don't know, everything has to be at least 20 years old. These are not at least 20 years old. From what I can tell, they're all relatively new. And okay, so Barbara Peel is still producing pottery. Because I looked it up when I first got it months and months ago, and she was pretty easy to find, but I didn't realize she was still producing. So that's good. So anyway, I probably just undercut her, and she's going to come, send a pack of Canadian geese after me. But anyway, these cannot go on Etsy because they're not old enough. So I had bought them to specifically go onto eBay, but I'm lazy. I just didn't do it. So you guys get a chance to buy them here. So I'm selling them as a set. They're going to be $2 a patch, and there are 5 of them. So this whole batch is $10. So you've got the fire, and these all have a theme. So, okay, Diana, we've got the NATO Air Base GK Germany, and I did not know what GK stood for. So it's the NATO fire department, but GK, I was not sure. I've been to Grafenwohr, but in Germany, but the GK I couldn't figure out. So I wasn't sure what that one was. So anyway, so the fire department, NATO Air Base GK Germany. You have the Osan Air Base in Japan. You've got the Altus Air Force Base in Oklahoma, home of the BMOS. So Altus Air Force Base Fire Department in Oklahoma. You've got the Grissom Air Force Base, U.S. Crash and Rescue. U.S. Crash and Rescue Air Force. I want to say Grissom was California, maybe. So Grissom Air Base. And then the last one is the Charleston Air Force Base Fire Department in Charleston, South Carolina. So these are a set. Again, they're all basically look like they're new. They all still have a sheen on the back of them. It's simply a set of 5 all military themed patches, $2 a piece. So they are $10. And I cannot find my card. I dropped it somewhere. Here it is. Okay. So $10 for the batch of patches, $10 by giving me number 81. So Diana from Little Vintage Me is saying Geilenkirchen. That is not one I am familiar with. And I used to sell to the military. I visited several of the bases in Germany. That one does not look familiar. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's just one I don't know. But I did like the fact there were a couple of international. I have not been to Osan in Japan either, but I did go to Grafenwohr. I've been to a couple of Air Force bases and a couple of military bases. Anyway, so it looks like we had a couple of takers for number 81. Let's see, Nate claims. So number 81 went to Michelle Ann. So congratulations, Michelle. I can tuck those into your elephant planter, and they won't even add any weight. So that's always nice when you buy more than one item because you save yourself some freight. All right, next item is going back into a piece of porcelain. This also happens to be another piece of left-in. To be full disclosure, I was going through some of my inventory, how I'm storing for Etsy, verifying that everything was labeled correctly on Etsy, and these 2 left-in pieces, for whatever reason, had never gotten posted. So instead of posting them, I'm selling them here. So this one is a shallow, very shallow bowl. It's more deep than a plate, but it's pretty shallow. I would say it's decorative. It does have, I don't know if I can show it. Here we go. You can kind of see it has the raised portion on the back with the hole running through it. So it is designed to be able to be hung. So it is designed as a decorative piece, but it sits flat as well. So you have a dish. It's got the reticulated border all the way around. It's got a kind of a cool cut into it too. It again is in perfect condition. I like the more the beigey background, where the other one was all the white background. So this one is a little bit more my color scheme, but I already don't have enough masculinity. I don't need to be decorating with roses. So this is not going into my permanent collection. So I'm just going to sell it here, and it's only $5. So $5 for the little roses left in porcelain plate. $5 by giving me number 69. $5.69 for the little rose left in plate. All right. The next item is one I did a live. I was a live haul video, and we actually did a little bit of group think on this next item because I wasn't 100% sure what it was. And so people were Googling for me. Live shows are fun because a lot of people hive mind is a great thing. So what this ended up being And I'll kind of show you guys, and you can start making your mental choices. So first I started with a keychain that says El Cortez from Las Vegas. So right out of the gate, we're all kind of like, okay, I don't know Las Vegas well enough. I personally had never heard of El Cortez. That means nothing. So people Googled it. It does. We did determine that El Cortez does still exist. So the El Cortez Hotel and Casino does exist, which was disappointing because I think there's probably more collectability for those that don't exist. But so you've got this little keychain, but then on the end of it, you had this little key. And so we were all kind of bouncing back and forth going, well, what would this key be for? And I think what we determined is it is a luggage key. So a couple of people thought maybe a safety deposit box, like an older safety deposit box. And I would definitely say from the keychain, this is like looking, 70s, that maybe this could have been a safe deposit box, but it would be a very, very simple lock if that were the case. So I think it was Katie from Vintage and Vinyl that came up that this would be like, and I remember owning one myself, like one of those Samsonite hard-sided luggage cases, that's the key for that. So I'm just selling it as whatever. It's a cool keychain for a vintage keychain from Las Vegas with a mystery key on it. And there you go. Katie's reminding everyone it was her that said it was a luggage key. So whatever you think it is, you can do whatever you want with it, because it's only $3. So it's just a cool thing that if nothing else, I think would look cool in one of those junk jars that people like to build from, because it would take up some good space and it just has a fun little key. And you can see there's definitely some patina to both the chain and the key itself. So it's $3 for the little keychain. $3, number 16. Oh, you're kidding, Rebecca. You stayed there last year? That's awesome. Okay, so is it, I actually didn't find out. Is it a downtown one like Fremont Street, or is it like somewhere more in the hills? So anyway, so number 16, $3 for the little luggage or whatever key on the El Cortez hotel. So number 69, the beige plate went to Janice. Mine Art. I apologize if I was saying your name wrong, Janice, but thank you very much for picking that up, because I know it was your first time here, so I appreciate you picking something up on your first visit to Trusty's live sale. And number 16, the little luggage key, goes to Mary Jo Vakovsky. So thank you very much, Mary Jo, for coming back and purchasing from me again. I always like to have repeat customers as well. So a cool little piece there. All right. I mentioned earlier I had the early bird sale for the mystery box. I promised I had another mystery box, so I'm going to go ahead and throw my next mystery box into the mix. So the next one is going to be in a different size box. I have to Frankenbox it. You can also follow my Instagram page and see how I Frankenbox things. I have to say, I'm getting pretty good. But anyway, this is going to be another Frankenbox, because what this is, unlike the first mystery box, which really didn't have a theme, it was just all vintage. This one is also all vintage, but it is vintage games. So what this one will actually contain, if you've watched my live sale for the vintage games I got from an estate sale, you're going to find some items from that estate from that video will be in here. There's going to be some games that I had in my booth. There's a game that I tried to sell in one of my earlier live sales that just didn't sell. So that's going to be in there. If you add it all together, the individual games, if I had them all in my booth or when I had them all in my booth, are worth $34. But I'm making this box, as I make all of my games boxes or mystery boxes, it's $15. So once again, $15, you now have to come up with the number. So I will give you the range. I will then watch the videos or watch the chat scroll through. As soon as I see the number, I will then ask Nate to verify who the first one was that actually typed it in. So I will give you the range, and the range for the vintage games box, again, the value of the games is $34. I'm selling it for $15. The number falls between 60 and 70, between 60 and 70. So the first person who gives the right number will then claim that item for $15. So thank you, Nora. Thank you, Jeannie. My packaging is awesome. I haven't always been good at it, and it doesn't necessarily mean I'm always going to stay good at it, but it's sometimes fun to do. So we've got several people popping in with the numbers. And oh, wait, just jumped. Okay, I already see it. So The number is 64. So if let Nate refresh his screen really quick and find out who he sees. I saw somebody get it pretty quick, but we need to refresh it, make sure that it's matching because I'm running it through StreamYard, so it doesn't always match what you all might see in YouTube land. So, and Michelle Ann, you are trying to cheat. So it doesn't matter because you didn't get it, but you only get to do one number at a time. So just keep that in mind. If you had gotten one of the numbers, I wouldn't have counted it. I'd only count the first one you give. So you got to do like everyone else is doing. Type it in, enter, type it in, enter, type it in. And then that's why we can go with the first one. So the mystery box goes to the same person I saw it went to. It went to, now I got to find it. It went to Thrifting in the Holler. So congratulations, Thrifting in the Holler, whose name I missed again because I know you. I just started following you on Instagram. But I can't remember your real name, so I apologize. But thank you for joining the sale again, and I hope you enjoy the vintage games. All right. Michelle, that was it, Michelle D. And it was like Mickey Michelle D or something like that. There was a combination there. So you just have myriad names, so we can run with that. I'm Trusty. Just ask anybody. Okay. And do you prefer Mickey or do you prefer Michelle D? Because I think you had both in your original name. So you're saying Mickey. I'm going to try and remember Mickey. I try to remember people's names, but I will admit I'm not perfect. Okay. The next item was about to go back into the booth. And then I decided, you know what? I was pulling things for the sale. I'm just going to pull it here. This to me was going to go, we are having an event at the booth called Galentine's Day, which they keep saying men can go to. But I think if you're going to want men to go to it, you need to change the name. So anyway, they're having a Galentine's event and they really want and are encouraging us to decorate in a lot of reds and pinks and Valentine items. I don't do pink. I don't have it. So this is like the closest I came. It is a restaurant wear piece from Jackson, China. And it does have these like reddish, almost burgundy, but they're red harps. So, you know, that may be kind of romantic. And what I planned on doing was putting a red pillar a red pillar candle into it and then sprinkling candy hearts around it. So I didn't do that. So you can. So I'm selling the dish. I think whether you want it as a restaurant wear piece or not, I think it's like a really shallow, probably, I don't know, cereal bowl, soup bowl, but it's a bisque soup bowl, like for lobster bisque. It's very shallow, but it is a bowl. But I just think this really is great as a centerpiece. You put something in there, even if it's just an entire dish of candy hearts. But if you want to use it for Valentine's, that's fine. But it doesn't scream Valentine's. So you could use it at other times of the year. I think it's cool. I really like it. And it's only $5. So it is Jackson, China. So it is restaurant wear. So and it's restaurant wear. It's a heavy grade restaurant wear. So it's just, you know, it's got the scalloped edge with the harps, Jackson China bowl. It's only $5. So $5 for the little Jackson China bowl. And that is number 2. $5, number 2 for the little restaurant wear dish with the harp edges. And pardon any noise that I make. Getting rid of the boxes. Okay. Oh yes, and Nate is properly calling them liars. So they're not necessarily harps. They're liars. So the next item is definitely falling out of my definition of vintage. This was again an item that I planned on putting into the booth. Just didn't happen. I had my sin carts. If you follow me on Instagram or you've watched some of my videos that I showcase, I have alcohol, I have smoking, I have gambling. And so these were pieces that I was going to put into those. And it is a set of, I do one. This one is, 2 of them still are wrapped. Like this still has, you can see it has the plastic packaging on it from like, they're basically new. But I'll show one without so you don't have as much of a glare. They are the Joe Camel Beach Club mugs. Yeah, they're acrylic, so they're like outdoor, beachy mugs. It says something out here at the top. They're dated 1993, so they are legitimately vintage, but I just didn't really want to put these on my Etsy store. So they should have gone into my eBay store. I might be closing my eBay store. So this was just some fun little thing for those of you who, if you happen to smoke or you collect Tobacciana or you just like non-breakable drinkware. It is a full set. So it's Joe's Beach Club. So you got that on one side. And so then this one is Busta, playing the guitar. You've got Eddie playing the steel drums. That's Eddie. And then the two that are still sealed are Floyd playing the saxophone. You got Floyd. And Max is playing the harmonica. So you've got a full set. And as I understand it, because I did look these up, I believe there were only 4 into the set. So I have all 4 of them. And you can have them for only $6 for the entire set. So I got a good deal on them. I'm passing them on as a good deal and they're super lightweight. The box will have to be big, but they don't weigh anything, so it's not going to be much. So $6 for the set of 4 acrylic mugs. $6, number 42. $6, number 42 for the Joe's Beach Club set of mugs. And I had something go. So number 2, the Harp restaurant the Lyre Harp restaurant ware piece went to Jerry Ellsworth. So thank you, Jerry. I think you are also new to my channel. So thank you so much for joining me, and congratulations picking up a piece of restaurant ware. All right. Next item also was not technically part of the Sin cart, but I did have some games there. And like I said, some of the games went into the mystery box. I was at a point where there weren't enough to be a big enough set of my booth. So I just took everything away. And this is one of the items that I also took out of my booth. And this is a bridge set. So this one, again, I don't know if this is necessarily that old. It has a UPC label on it. It's the Design bridge gift set, playing card decks with coordinating score pads. It does have a barcode on the back, so it dates past at least into the 80s. But I think with this image on it, it's got this older couple. It looks like almost like a shoebox greeting company. So I mean, I'm thinking maybe 90s, 2000s is maybe when this is from. I don't think it's super new, but I could be wrong. And I don't recognize the brand. So again, it's Designs is the name of the brand. But anyway, it's still sealed. So you've still got the original cellophane seal all the way around it. It's got 2 decks of cards. Both of the decks of cards are sealed. One of them has a 50s woman in a full circle skirt that says, "I was never meant to work." So that's one deck of cards. And the other one is, "Girl, you keep talking, but you ain't saying nothing." That's the one on the bottom. And then the big score pad is, "When it comes to dieting, remember one simple rule. If you can't lose it, decorate it." So that is I'm assuming this must be like the score pad because it's the biggest thing. So 2 decks of cards and the score pad in its original box. And the entire thing is $5. So $5 for basically a gift-worthy piece of vintage bridgeware, knowing everything is in there with 2 sealed decks of cards. $5 by giving me number 23. $5, number 23. And the Joe Camel mugs went to Michelle Ann. So thank you, Michelle, for picking up the camel mugs. All right. The next item, I've never sold anything like this in a live sale. At no point am I trying to say anything, or I do not want to offend anyone. I'm not trying to do cultural appropriation. It's something that I've done on Etsy before, and I picked this up specifically to sell on Etsy, not realizing it was far newer than I thought it was. So it is a ceramic Seder plate. So the season is coming for Passover. You have this great, it looks like marble, but it is ceramic. When I picked it up, it's entirely my fault. I did not pay attention to the date. It's only from 2018. So what was I thinking? There's no way this would go on to Etsy. It's possible I thought I was going to sell it on eBay, but I don't know if I don't know about eBay because, again, I'm still trying to figure that one out. So I'm just going to sell it here. There are 2 available on eBay right now that are still selling as new. They sell as new for $28. Well, mine's not new. I do have the box, and you will get the box with it. But it is a Seder plate. So, if anyone collects Judaica or anybody knows a family starting out that needs a Seder plate for their newfound family, it is a beautiful piece. It is in perfect condition, and I'm selling it for only $12. So it's, it's not new, but it does still have the box. So can't really call it vintage. Could sell it on eBay. Instead, I'm going to try and sell it here. I do think as a item, as Judaica, it is a really pretty piece. I am not Jewish. Again, I'm not trying to say anything. I just also recognize that there is some value to those pieces when they're very well and nicely done. They make nice gifts. So the ones I've sold before, I have sold on Etsy. This one can't do that because it's not old enough. So I'm going to sell it here for $12. So $12 for the ceramic Seder plate, $12 by giving me number 83. $12.83 for the ceramic Seder plate. And number 23, the bridge set, went to Jean Marie. So thanks, Jean. Add that to, you picked up something else too, I thought. I'll add that to the shoe brush. Those will be very easy to put together. So thank you so much for picking that up. And the next item, I do have another lightweight item. Although the ceramic dish isn't heavy, I'm still sitting next to the piece of pottery, so it doesn't fall off. Looks like 83 went to Margaret Gwen. So the Seder plate goes to Margaret Gwen. Thank you, Margaret, for picking that up. I hope you either can put good use to it or a family that will enjoy it because it is gorgeous. Oh, Belinda just got her Life magazines. That was fast. No, wait a minute. Were yours I'm trying to remember which batch yours were. No, yours were the second batch. That was fast. Media mail. The last time I sent something media mail, it took like 3 months. So congratulations. I'm still waiting for the post office to come get me because I ended up inadvertently sending somebody's matches via priority mail. Oops, I wasn't supposed to do that. I specifically picked a box that wouldn't go priority mail. It didn't say priority mail. And then when I did the labels, I'm just so by default doing everything priority. But I think it was staying in Illinois, so I'm hoping it never got on a plane. So, there are rules that I should not be violating. Anyway, so 83 was the Seder plate. So let me move that out of the way. All right, let me grab these really quick. So again, if you watched, I want to say it was my live haul. I think it was the live haul. I don't think it was the video I did. I want to say it was a live haul. I showed these candelabra. So it's a pair of candelabra. They are not marked in any way. What they are is they are sealed. So however they were made, they put a base inside that covers up all of everything that's anchoring all this together. You can't see any of it. So it's a very nicely made piece. And I believe it was during the live haul because people were commenting on what they thought the era was. I thought they were mid-century modern. There were a couple of people who disagreed with me. Some felt that these were pushing into like the 70s or 80s, which is possible because brass was a big deal in the 80s too. I just feel the silhouettes. I mean, the silhouettes, hell, that could go all the way back to the Nouveau era. Like we could be in the teens. I don't think they're that old. So, and I just really hoped they weren't like made last year by Party Light. I have no idea, but they're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. They're in absolutely pristine condition. There is no dents. There's no scratches. There's nothing going on. I will say they are brass, but they have kind of like the rosy tone to the brass. So they're not really a harsh brass. You can see somehow there's a white metal between the cup and the base. I think that's just the way those are attached. But again, you can't even see, I guess you can kind of see there's a screw in there. They're just very well assembled. They just, you put this up on a mantle or on the piano, they're going to look gorgeous because they're only, obviously they're pretty wide, but if you look at the base is only it's less than 5 inches across. So even if you had a fairly narrow mantle, these could sit up on your mantle and they'd look fabulous. And you could change the colors of the candles, for holidays. I just think they were great. But if you're familiar with selling on Etsy, because they're not labeled, they don't have a brand, they're kind of an indistinct design, it's all about tagging it. And so I wasn't really sure the best way to sell them. So I just said, you know what? I'm just going to sell them here. I personally, if I put them on Etsy, I would sell them for double what I'm asking here, because here I'm just going to ask $25. So $25 for the pair. if I were going to put these onto Etsy, I would have listed them either 45 or 75. I hadn't decided, but it was because it was hard to figure out. Google Lens failed me. I just couldn't figure out what to list them at. But I got a decent price on them, so you guys get to benefit from that. So it's $25 for the pair, $25 for the pair of candelabra by giving me number 59. $25, 59 for the pair of candelabra. And okay. I had started to show this piece, and then I guess I put it down because I don't think I ever showed it. I think I was looking at somebody, seeing if somebody bought something. So this was moving back to something small. This was also in the live haul. No, this was a different live haul. I did two. This is from the second live haul, and this is a brooch. Now, this is a brooch that I'm hoping I do not. I did try, Michelle, I did try Google Lens for the candelabra, and I didn't have any luck. So the brooch, I also tried Google Lens on and did not have any luck on this one either. There was some debate during the live sale about how old it was. Somebody was saying, I don't do jewelry that often. So Katie was helping me out quite a bit. And there were a couple other people in the chat that said, well, because it has a flat back, that indicates some age. I don't know why that is. I don't know enough about, how this is made, but you can see there does appear to be a flat surface that then the rest of this is built onto. It's not signed. It's not marked in any way. It does have the safety clasp, but according to Katie, the safety clasp is not that new. I thought it was a relatively new thing. She said the safety clasp actually dates to the 19th century. So you can't just automatically assume because it has a safety clasp, it's new. And then you also have the reality, in some cases, old clasps get repaired or replaced, and they replace them with a safety clasp because you don't want to, you don't want it to fall off. So it's this two-tone brooch. It's kind of like a grape cluster because those to me look like grape leaves on the top. And you can see that there's like a gold tone to them, but then they still have a silver tone in there. This has not been polished in any way, so I do not believe that this is any sort of silver plate or anything. So it's just a white metal. It's just cool. So it is one of these cases where, again, to list it on Etsy, I don't have enough key terms to make it easily found. And because I don't ever sell jewelry, people won't come to my site looking for jewelry. So I just decided, you know what? Once again, I got a good price on this. I'm going to pass it on to you guys at a good price. So I'm selling it for $10. So $10 for this little brooch, which could be 100 years old. It could be 5 years old. I have absolutely no idea. So $10 for the little two-tone grape cluster pin by giving me number 63. $10, 63 for the little brooch. It looks like we had no takers on the candelabra, so they are going to go up here. Anyone decides they want them later, they are available. Okay. And 63 goes to Auntie Christy. All right, so enjoy that, Christy. I'll add that to your box. All right, again, follow my channel. I'm going to do a lot of pottery, porcelain, and glass. So here's another piece of pottery. This one is marked, signed by the artist, but it was not a signature I could figure out, and I'm not sure of its age. So there's an incised mark on the bottom, which I really, I couldn't figure out at all. But then there's also a signature underneath the handle. So I don't know if the pot was maybe thrown by one person and painted by another person. I really don't know why there's two different signatures or if those are related. To me, this is a vase, but people have seen this before, and some people thought maybe it was for olive oil or something like that. They'd put a cork in it. That's possible. This to me is very, very wide. So if you go to pour it, I would think that you would end up having a lot trying to come out, but you could put a liquid in there. It does appear to feel glazed as far as I can reach into it. So it could be a vase, it could hold liquid, or it could just be a decorative piece. You can see there's kind of the gray pottery as a ground and the glaze. And then you've got these blue tulips. I don't know, what are those? Let's go with tulips. And the little blue, it's kind of like a bluish green. It's a very, very, very dark teal color. It's not quite like a royal blue. And you can actually see the stems are green, but the flowers are blue. So you can see they're similar in color, but you can see there is a slight differential between the green and the blue. It's just, I love art pottery, but just sometimes it's hard to attribute it to anybody in particular. So this is just being sold for its decorative value for $8. So $8 for the floral designed art pottery piece. By giving me number 5, $8, number 5 for the piece of pottery. And yes, I already included that one. All right. Again, if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen this. This used to decorate the top of my booth, and it was not for sale. But as I'm changing things around, I've been encouraged to mix things up a little bit, and to go to because they felt that by having the same display at the top of on the top of the hutch in my booth, people will see that every time they visit, like, oh, that booth hasn't changed. Like they don't have anything new, even though the entire booth is flipped. They encouraged me not to keep all that stuff static. So I'm starting to pull that down and sell it. This baby was not going to get sold in the booth because he has a removable hat. He has a tiny, tiny little matchstick as a cigarette. His head comes off. He's a bottle, and he's like a little gaucho bottle. He's got the shawl. Unfortunately, even when I bought him, his gun was missing, so he still has the holster. And he's got this like wicker covering to it. He's tagged not for sale because he was not for sale, but he's now for sale to you guys. So he's got the little cork stopper for the head. And I don't know what kind of bottle this would have been. I'm assuming just like a wine bottle, or it was a screw top wine bottle, if that's what it was. So that's, I think, somewhat irrelevant. But so he's got the cork. I'm assuming that this must have been this style of bottle topper he had. I don't know. And then his little hat just sits right on top. So he's just a cool little gaucho for your bar. You're just going to sit there. I guess you could put liquid in him, but I just think he's going to look cool hanging out at your bar. And he is $14. So the little gaucho bottle band is $14, and you can have him by giving me number 99. $14, number 99. All right. The largest piece I am selling this evening is a piece that was in my collection for it technically was in my collection, but I had technically sold it to someone who then I think died. I don't mean to that facetiously. I literally think she died. But anyway, I was trying to get her to pay me. So regardless, it was something that I kept for a while because I committed to selling to her. She'd given me a down payment on a portion of what she bought. That stuff I still haven't sold. This was an add-on. And I feel comfortable now just selling it on my own because if she resurrects, okay, that was probably a bad choice of words. If she just happened to have lost my email and she comes back, I tried to give the money back and the bank account was closed. Like I literally don't know what to do. She never paid for this. So this piece I'm selling on my own. So selling it outright. So what this is a piece of Royal Hager, but it is stamped Royal Hager, not incised. So it doesn't have the incised mark of Royal Hager, but it does have the Royal Hager stamp. This is an earth wrap design in a very mid-century modern shape. It's a vase, a very large scale vase. This painting technique they did on all kinds of pieces. It has an avocado green ground and then kind of like a really dark brown, almost black, and then like a mustard yellow glaze going around it. The top has this like little death point on one side and then the handle on the other. For purely decorative purposes, I don't know what on earth you would use this for to pour or carry. But the one downside to it, I never carry things with damage unless they're special. Well, this one's special enough that I decided to overlook this piece of this damage. It does have a little feel to it, but I have a feeling it started prior to being glazed because this portion of the crack is actually still glazed over. So that has sealed that part shut. But at the very, very top, the glaze wasn't strong enough to keep the crack from, appearing. So you can see there's a little bit of paint loss in this one, and then it does go into the inside. I just lost it. There we go. So it does. I don't know if you can really tell it. It's not a serious crack, but it is a crack because it does go through the two. So it's, if it were in pristine condition, it'd be worth a lot more. Selling it like this with that crack, I recognize there's damage, so I knocked the price down to reflect it. So I was only selling for $20. So it's a very large Royal Hager piece. Again, keep this in mind in shipping. I do have a box that's large enough for this, and it's sturdy enough that I feel comfortable shipping this even with this shape. So it is. Yeah, and so I do believe it's from the factory. But the one different thing, and this is something that's important to know about Hager, they typically mark them as seconds. They never marked this one as a second. So either it did happen out after manufacturing, it just happened in such a way it didn't break the glaze, or at the time they either didn't notice it or didn't feel it was serious enough to mark it as a second. So that's valid. So anyway, it's just a cool piece, and it's only $20. So $20 for the Earth Wrap Royal Hager thing. $20, number 62. $20, number 62 for the Royal Hager. All right, since we've got Nate running the chat today, got an item in honor of Nate. Oh, I will say the Gaucho bottle goes to Jewel T. So thank you, Jewel T, for picking that up. But we've got my homage to New Zealand is a set of Jason coasters manufactured in Auckland, New Zealand. The company was established in 1963 and is a set of coasters because, you're on my channel, you're always going to find coasters. This is kind of a cool set of coasters, clearly designed for the export market because it has 6 different flags. You've got the American flag, the German flag, the Canadian flag, the French flag, the Swiss flag, and the British flag. What we do not have is the New Zealand flag. I'm pretty sure that's the British flag. Margaret, the shipping for that Royal Hager piece to Nevada, it's not particularly heavy, but the box will be bigger. So you're probably looking at about $20 to ship that, maybe 25. It's definitely gonna be bigger than a 12 by 12, but it's not that heavy, so that helps. So it's a set of 6 coasters for international flags, but not including the New Zealand flag. So either they felt all the New Zealanders knew what their own flag looked like, they didn't need to get it to them, or these were designed for an export market. It does have the barcode on there, so I don't know how old these are, but these are, it's that Pimpernel style cloverleaf. Jason now is a name that I wasn't familiar with, but now when I find them, I pick them up because they are very high quality. Okay, Margaret, thank you for picking that up. And if it ends up being like super more expensive, I'll play around with, because you're also getting the Seder plate, I'll play around with some other ways to ship it to you. And if it ends up being too much money, don't even worry about it. We just won't do it because I get it. I could put it in my booth. I just wanted to give you guys the chance to get it. So I lost the number for that. $62. Sorry, wanted to make sure I wrote that down before I forgot. Okay, so 6 coasters, $6. So 6 coasters for $6 for the Jason International Flag coasters for $6 in its original gift box by giving me number 90. $6, number 90, ode to Nate. I very rarely come across New Zealand marked products, so when I find them, I definitely pick them up. All right, so we're moving from New Zealand manufactured items to Kentucky manufactured items for what most people will recognize probably on site, M.A. Hadley. So we've got the M.A. Hadley little coasters. So they're little small plates. I guess you could use them to serve the smallest piece of birthday cake, in the world, because they're only 4 inches across. But it is a pair of signed M.A. Hadley piece, which are made by Louisville Stoneware Company, so Louisville, Kentucky. They always have a very distinctive look. They've got this blue glaze on a gray-blue ground. Although I will say I just came across my first piece of M.A. Hadley that was in a green glaze. I was thinking maybe that was rarer. It is rarer, but it doesn't make it more valuable. So I didn't pick it up. But the blue is very traditional. So you've got the birthday plate with a little cake, a very happy birthday to you, and then just the little I love you. So whether you, again, as a plate or as a coaster, they're 4 inches across, so you can use them for either. And there you go, a cupcake plate. There you go, Piper's mom, cupcake plate. So it is a pair of M.A. Hadley plates. Once again, I can put them on Etsy very easily. These are truly vintage, but there's a lot of them out there. And so it's going to be harder to sell them. So I'd much rather give you guys a better price and sell them here. So normally they would sell for about $8 each. I'm going to sell $8 for the pair. So $8 for the pair of M.A. Hadley plates, $8 by giving me number 32. $8, number 32 for the pair of Hadley plates. And the New Zealand coasters goes to Sheila Putman. So thank you, Sheila, for returning. I didn't say hello to you earlier, but it looks like some new names are popping in. So I apologize. Brooke's back. Sheila's back. It looks like Happy and Harned. I recognize that, but I don't know if it's from my channel. I think I saw you someplace else. Jerry Ellsworth, Liz Stearman is back. So Greedy Gret is back. So again, thank you all for those of you who are joining me that I missed at the very beginning. So it looks like 32, the M.A. Hadley coasters also went to Sheila Putman. So Sheila is refreshing her feed nicely and jumping in front of everybody because that one was pretty popular. Next piece, another piece of pottery. This one is a decorative piece that, again, was once in my booth. I was originally selling him for $19. He is marked for he's from 1973. It's a very cool 3-sided blue and gray glazed vase. So you have the vase in the top. He's 3-sided. Originally was selling him for $19, and then marked him down to $10, and then I closed my booth. So it has a CC initials in the bottom, and then it was from March of 1973. So you've got a nice piece of vintage pottery in absolutely perfect condition. I am still going to sell them for $10. Beautiful piece, $10. You can have that by giving me number 7. $10, number 7. For a corner piece, exactly. You can just tuck that right into a corner. I just really liked that piece. I just like I love when they're a different shape because they're just a little bit more interesting. All right, I forgot when I knew when I was asked if when Diana jumped in, like, okay, I think I have something German. I couldn't think of what it was. And then I was like, oh, it must have been the patch. No, this is what it is. And I meant to grab my translation. I did have the Huckster helper actually look at this one, but she told me what it was. Let me take it out of a sheath here. What it is very cool. It's like it's its own little piece of history. It is what effectively served as currency in 1920. So at the time, the German mark was not a mark yet. It was called a Heller. So this was for 20 Heller. And it was issued by the city of Weissenkirchen in der Wachau. So that, I guess, is the name of the city. And what this basically says, you can see there's a date on there, April 15th, 1920. The city was issuing these that then on April, I think it was by either that was the date they were issuing it or by April 15th, the date you had by December, you can see the smaller font there at the top. By December 30th, 1920, you would be able to take this and turn it in for real money. So it was kind of like a government-issued, city-issued IOU. And I'm like, well, what was happening in 1920 that they just didn't have money? And she said it was that inflation was so rampant right after World War I that in some cases they needed to do things like this at the city level. And so the individual cities were the ones who issued these. So they weren't issued by the German government. They were issued by the German states or by the individual towns. So I did go on Etsy and I started looking for these. I couldn't find one by this town, the Weissenkirchen in der Wachau, but I found some other ones, and they're not particularly rare. So they're not particularly valuable. And again, the thing with selling things on Etsy is you need to be able to stand out from the rest of the crowd. And so this was one of those cases that I think this is super cool. I had never heard of this. Amelia, the huckster helper, my daughter, translated the entire back. She's a German major, graduating from college this year. So it was a good test for her because it was it was a very historic script. You know, that's a very traditional font. I guess up until the 70s, they had a legal font that books had to be printed in. So it's fun for her to look at old documents. I'd never heard of this. And so it's just kind of literally a little piece of history that is very specific to this region. That is a very specific time. And I would have thought it would have made more sense if it was during the war. But again, this was in 1920. So, but you do figure Germany lost the war. They had their own issues, and evidently towns they didn't have enough currency. So they had to do these weird IOU things. So, so even Diana from Little Vintage Me, she didn't even know about that. So like I said, it wasn't just this one town, because if you go on Etsy and eBay, you can find others. So they're just kind of cool. And I'm selling it for $5. It's just kind of a little cool thing. It's going to cost nothing to ship. I can just shove it in a note card, and it can go with a regular stamp if we need it to. So it's $5 for the little IOU. $5 as number 82. $5, number 82 for the little German currency. All right. If you watched my Instagram, you were also seeing this as a preview piece, which when I found this, I just thought this was too cool, and I had to pick it up and hopefully you guys are going to see the same thing that I did. When I saw this on the shelf, this is cheating a little bit because you can tell with the glare, there's a little bit of a glare on there, but it looks like a Dixie cup. And yes, Maria was one of the people that I sent something media mail, and it took a very, very, very long time. It looks just like a Dixie cup, but it is made out of porcelain. So it's got the little, I don't even know what that pattern is. And this was another one. Hive Mind is just a great thing. This went up onto Instagram when I first got it, because I could not read the signature. So it says summer in the autumn, espresso in the summer garden, because this is an espresso cup. But I couldn't figure out what the signature was, and it's Gwyneth Lilly. And when I finally found out that's what it said, I found these. These were being sold by Anthropology. So they were probably ludicrously expensive at the time. I have a pair, and I do have one listed on Etsy right now. I think I've got it listed on Etsy for $25 because that's what they were selling for. I just decided to split up the pair because I don't think you need a pair of them. This to me is just a little conversation piece. It could be a toothpick holder if you wanted to, but it is technically an espresso cup that looks like a Dixie cup. And I just think it's super cool. So I'm selling it for $12. So $12 is the little Anthropology espresso cup. $12, number 28. $12, number 28 for the espresso cup. And it looks like the German money was very popular, and that went to Auntie Christy. So that will add nothing to the weight of your box, Christy. So I hope you enjoy that. So this was $12, number 28. All right, another lightweight item. This one, let's see, do we have a taker on 28? 28 went to Mama J. So Mama J picks up the Anthropology espresso cup. All right, hope you enjoy that, Mama J. All right, the next one, another lightweight item, easy to ship. I wasn't 100% sure on the age of this one. It has a fax number on it, so I don't think it's particularly old. But Easter's a-coming, so we've got, hey, Kim. If you're not following Kim at Oh My Vintage, make sure you do. She's got another, she's going to be doing some more live haul, or not live, but she's going to be doing some more unboxing videos because she won the 35 mystery boxes from the Just One More Dachshund fundraiser. So she's already had four videos that she's posted. So she's opened 20 boxes. She hasn't even opened mine yet. So there's still quite a few left to open. So definitely follow Oh My Vintage. So this is the Anastasia egg, St. Petersburg, 1908. is clearly a souvenir piece or possibly a candy. No, actually, I take that back. It definitely was a candy. It was produced exclusively for Bentley's Confectionery Limited in London. And then I find it interesting, they don't list their phone number. They only list their fax number. I don't know when that was a thing. But it's just a metal. Sure, just metal. There you go. It's just a metal egg-shaped candy container. So like I said, there's not like significant age to this. There's no website on it, so it might be a little bit older, but it's in pristine condition. I'm not personally familiar with Bentley's Confectionery Limited, but it has the face of Anastasia, who happens to look like a nurse in this one. But it's labeled on the back that it is the Anastasia egg, St. Petersburg, 1908. So it's decorated to look like a Fabergé egg, clearly not Fabergé, but it's just a very cute metal egg, you know, for whatever you want to use it for. And it's $4. So $4 for the little Anastasia Easter egg, $4, and it's number 54. $4, number 54 for the little candy egg. All right, next item I had in the preview that was on Instagram was a set of postcards. So for the postcards, I had been doing, and I'm going to include it in this, it's going to be a lot, a set of postcards called a lot, but there are a lot of them too. So this one is going to be a 1 postcard folder for Washington, D.C. So it has all the images of Washington, D.C. In this one. But I did this as a themed lot, and I'm including other Washington, D.C. postcards. So included with the folder postcard from Washington, D.C. are 6 individual postcards that none of these have been postmarked. So you've got the American Red Cross. You've got the door to the Capitol building. You've got the Lincoln Memorial and Reflecting Pool. You've got the U.S. Capitol at night. You've got the DAR building, the Daughters of the American Revolution, which is one of my favorite museums, by the way. You've got a black and white from the Pension building. I don't know if that one still exists. You got that one. And that one's a non-divided card, so that one's a little bit older. The illuminated fountain at the Capitol Plaza. That's divided. And then the Japanese cherry blossoms on Riverside Drive. So a colorized one, also divided. So you've got the 6 individual postcards, all from Washington, D.C., and the folder from Washington, D.C. So you get 6 plus the folder. Are they right? No, is it 8? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you get 8 regular postcards that I went through, plus the folder postcard. You get the entire lot for $6. So $6 for the 9 postcards, 8 individual plus the folder. $6 by giving me number 40. $6, number 40. And I lost the bidder on the egg. So let me pull this back up. So number 54, the egg went to Karen Dondelinger. So thank you, Karen, for picking that up. All right. All right, looks like we had taker number 40. So number 40 also went to Karen Dondelinger. All right. So thank you, Karen, for picking those up. Those will be heading to the West Coast. Another piece of larger pottery that had been labeled for my old booth, and I never changed it to my new booth, is a piece of McCoy, a mid-century modern piece of McCoy. So you've got this crescent shape in the yellow ground with kind of this like almost like a wood graining effect painted onto the surface. It's slightly higher on one end than here. It is a planter. I was originally selling it in the booth for $28. Before I left the booth, I marked it down to $20 and it had not sold, and I just never labeled it for the new booth. So I'm going to sell it here at half price of the my original price. Originally had it at 28. I'm selling it here for 14. So $14 for the McCoy mid-century modern banana boat. Thank you, Michelle. Banana boat crescent shaped mid-century modern planter. $14 by giving me number 77. $14, number 77 for the mid-century modern planter. All right. Running down, only a couple items left. This is part of a family of products that I had sold earlier in a couple other sales. This one had been in my booth because, again, I had a series of ashtrays available in my booth. I'm slowly making the space. I have a little smoking stand now, so I only have a handful of things that are left. So this got pulled off. I originally had it at $18, marked it down to $15. It's an enameled, footed ashtray. So, and it is an ashtray because it has the little notches in it, but it's kind of, they're done in a cool way. There's the 2 notches at the top and only 1 cigarette notch at the bottom. So, I mean, you can really get away with this to be anything. It can hold your keys. It could be a candy dish. Yeah, technically it's an ashtray, but it is a piece of enameled ashtray signed by Sasha B. And Sasha B does have a following. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of damage. You can see where the enamel's meeting the edge. There's a couple of places where the enameling has flaked off. Unfortunately, if you collect enamelware, you know that that's fairly common. And this is priced to reflect that. So the $15 in the booth I thought was a fair price, but I took it out and I'm going to sell it here now for only $12. So if you look up Sasha B, his Brashoff, I think is what the B stood for. This piece dates from between 1963 and 1973. That was when the signature was done as Sasha B, not spelling out the Brashoff. So it's just this cool design. I would have said mid-century modern, but it's kind of late in that. So it's hitting closer to the 60s, early 70s. $12 for the Sasha B enameled dish. $12 gives me number 87. $12.87 for the enameled dish. And number 77, the McCoy went to Nettie. So congratulations, Jeanette, for picking that up. All right. Again, I do not offer jewelry very often, but this was a piece I picked up. I ended up picking up 2 of these. One of them I sold earlier. This is the other one. It is a vintage piece of Park Lane jewelry. You can see it's signed there on the little taggy thing. It is a doubled, it does have a clasp, so you can open it up, but it is a doubled necklace that you can slip over your head even when it's doubled. So yes, I am going to showcase this. Being doubled, let's see, we can all do some math. That means it is, so it's 12 inches, so 12, 24, so it's a 48-inch long chain. So Park Lane, vintage Park Lane, 48-inch long chain. It's the same design throughout. It's this open, cut work, gold tone chained necklace, and it is $7. And thank you, Halem. Not big into the chains tend to get mixed into my chest hair, but I'll wear just about anything. $7 for the Park Lane, number 37. $7, number 37 for the Park Lane vintage necklace. All right. Next item is this is actually coming out of my personal collection. This has been, if you watch some of my videos, this was actually sitting in one of the secretary I've got on my landing. It is simply a vintage, theoretically vintage. I've had it for about 15 or 20 years. So it's, it's definitely vintage. I just don't know the era that was made in. It may be a modernized mark, but I've had this for a while, so it's already getting its own age. And it's just a simple bud vase. So you've got the birds, sitting on the branch. It looks like a cherry blossom tree, with the multiple branches on the bottom. It's in perfect condition. It just no longer matches the decor. I'm sure that probably says something. It just no longer matches the decor that I've got in my home. So I'm selling it for $6. So $6 for the vase, $6 by giving me number 1. $6, number 1 for the vase. So 37, the Park Lane necklace went to Karen Dondelinger. And it looks like somebody was just asking for 87. So Mickey, yes, 87 is still available. I can add that to your box. That's the enameled ashtray. So I can add that. I make sure I keep you together, thrifting in the house. So I can add that to your, it'll go to your games mystery box and it probably won't even add any weight. So that'll be perfect. Okay, I'm not going to be able to read my own handwriting. All right. And it looks like I had some takers on number 1. So 87 went to Thrifting in the Holler, and number 1 went to Sheila Putman. So thank you, Sheila. I can add this to your collection as well. This piece, I couldn't remember if I had shown him before, but he was in my booth for a while, and he was another one that I just never retagged to go into my new booth. He's just a little ceramic pair of ducks. I think he was one of those DIY pieces, probably from the 80s. So he's nothing really special. When I think I at least had him on a haul video and somebody said he was a napkin holder. Maybe, I don't know. Because I'm not sure why there would be 2 ducks that are so close together. But a napkin holder kind of makes sense. They're not very wide. Definitely like a letter holder or something, but I can't imagine anyone having this on their desk. So I do think this is more like a kitchen duck. So I think, maybe that is a napkin holder. I used to have him listed for $12.95 in my booth. Here I'm going to sell him for $7. So it's a pair of ducks, $7, and you can have them by giving me number 36. 36 for the pair of ducks, $7. All right. And that's where I'm going to stop. I had a couple things that didn't sell. It looked like the teal bottle piece did not sell. That was $8 for number 5. So I should have put him up here. So he's still available. The candlestick, the brass candlesticks are still available. The triangular vase is still available. And the ducks are still available. So I'm going to stop with those. No, sorry, Halem, no bargain bin tonight. I usually was doing the bargain bin as a theme, like I've done theme nights. I haven't had a theme for a while because I'm really just, my theme is clearing out my inventory for my booths. So I did have a couple $2 items last week. This time, I think I had a couple $3 items. I don't think I had any $2 items. So technically, nothing from the bargain bin tonight. But they'll be back. I'll definitely do the bargain bin again. So number 5 went to Jewel T. Okay, I don't know if you just claimed that or if you claimed it before. I apologize if I missed it, but I'm glad. So that's the pottery. That's this one. Goes to Jewel T. So I will add that. And since you already bought something, that actually will spread out your shipping cost. So that's kind of nice. And again, I do appreciate all of you joining me this evening. I know that there's a lot of other stuff available. So many new names came tonight. I really do appreciate that as well. There should be, and somebody please back me up in the chat because I forgot to specifically look. I believe this Overstuffed House is again doing her Thursday night sale. It used to be at 11 p.m. Last weekend, she changed it to 10:30. I don't know if it's still 10:30 or if it's going back to 11. So the triangular vase was 10. The triangular vase was $10. So she is tomorrow. Then also, if you were joining me instead of watching the interview, Jeffrey and Barb from Winking Owl Antiques, they have their sales tomorrow night. That was number 7. This was number 7 for $10. I don't know where the card went, but it's around here somewhere. They have their sale tomorrow night. Definitely check out Fatbird Finds on Friday night. They are 10 p.m. Eastern. They're flipping and sipping. They do sell a handful of items. I think they're still doing the Fatbird 5. but they're more just a hangout. So it's just a great end of the week. So there's a lot of great people that have been joining this chat are also available on YouTube. Definitely check them out. Make sure you follow Angela Marksberry. She's the one that does the calendar. It usually gets posted around Saturday for the upcoming week. So that gives you a lot of chance to see. So number 7 is going to Jean Marie. So thank you, Jean Marie, for adding that. So yeah, so check. And did anyone answer whether there's a sale tonight for this overstuffed house? Yeah, can you check the chat? Nate? Because I thought somebody else's name was asking about number 7, but I can't right now. I can't. My mouse is not letting me go up. I don't know why. But Michelle is saying Maria had wanted number 7. Oh, and Little Vintage Me, she's having a video. So February 6th, she will have a premiere haul video. Fantastic. And yes, all right. So Katie is saying that Nancy from This Overstuffed House, that's all one word, This Overstuffed House, is having her sale. Is it 10 o'clock tonight, Katie, or is it 11 or 10:30? Okay, so 7, Nate is saying is going to Jean Marie. So, okay, I'm going to trust you with that. Okay, Jules T is saying she thinks it's 11. And that's what it used to be. Like I said, last week I thought she moved it earlier. Okay, and Kim is saying it does. It says 11. Thank you so much for checking on that. I definitely want to shout out other people because there's a lot of us out there, and there's a lot of other stuff available. Pink Elephant Parlor, she does her sales on Sundays. Jeannie does some live sales. Her daughter, Plus One Thrifting, has done some interviews. She actually interviewed me once. If you want to go be really bored and watch me, so there's a lot of us out there. So I appreciate everyone supporting me. And the second part of living is saying, okay, so she did confirm it. But that's the problem when people move around is then you've got people like me who want to promote you, but I don't know how to do it because I can't keep track of everything. And then, yeah, so Diana, Little Vintage Me, 64. So anyway, thank you all so much. Oh, and it looks like Laura's jumped in. Okay, her sale's tomorrow night. All right, so she's got one on Thursday. So I don't know if she's before, after, or during Jeffrey's sale, but obviously a different channel. So again, a lot of stuff to look for, a lot of channels you should subscribe to, sign up for the notifications, and then you'll know exactly when people are going live. So again, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you so much for those of you who participated. Even if you didn't, I love having the Huckster Hecklers in the house, and I hope you had some fun. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for putting your trust in Trusty Huckster, and have a great night. Bye-bye.